I'm Katie White, and this is By the Book, Enhancing Relationships Through Literature. Our mission here at By the Book is to connect people with books that foster personal growth and strengthen relationships with family and friends. We believe the best relationship advice is already out there, and we're here to help you discover it. Today we have one of my very best friends in the entire world, Brooke Harris. She started her educational career as a psychology major, and her interests have always stayed there in the psychology world. She loves learning about relationships and how people work. She's currently a radiology technician and is studying medical diagnostic, computed tomography, and sonography. Brooke served a mission for her church where she met my brother, and then I connected with her through him. She's a world traveler. She spent a summer in Guatemala and has been working with a humanitarian organization in the Dominican Republic for the past couple years. She's so talented. She's an artist in every sense of the word. She's a singer, loves playing guitar, participates in local choirs. She performs with the Amanaki Choir, I hope I said that right, loves to draw, and is often commissioned for her talents. In her free time, she loves spending time outside, in nature, backpacking, surfing when she gets the opportunity, reading, spending time with family and friends. She's the hardest worker I know. There's literally nothing she can't do. So thank you so much, Brooke, for being here. I'm so stoked to talk to you today and hear your thoughts about the book that you chose.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's an honor.
So tell us about what book you chose and why you chose it.
Okay, so the book I chose is called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I love this book. It's like my Bible. Like, I have extra copies on hand that I give out to people because I just feel like it has opened my eyes so much to a lot of things that I can do for myself and in my relationships. It's just an incredible book, and it's a reminder that I need every year. I have like a goal to reread it every year. So
I love that. I should do that too. I remember the first time that I read it, I was like, whoa, I need more time to absorb all this good information.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the author.
Okay, so Don Miguel Ruiz, I truly don't know a ton about him. I know he has several books, including one kind of following or coupled with the 4 agreements called The 5th Agreement. Okay. But he seems to be like, and he talks about this in his book, he's just very connected to this spirituality, Aztec. I believe Toltec is something that he kind of taps into, especially. But he just writes concerning spirituality. He's had workshops and things like that, as well as several other books coupled with the 4 agreements.
Perfect. So I just want to ask you, how did you find the book? How were you introduced to it? Do you remember how you found it?
Yeah, I do actually. So I was introduced to the book through a roommate who absolutely loved it and just was like, you should definitely read this. And she kind of felt the same way, where she was like, just wanted to share it with everybody. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I've read it every year since then. I love it. It's great.
I love that. I feel like the people that I've had on the podcast so far, all the books that they chose, they're like, I've read it again and again and again. So yeah, I love that you're so passionate about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you like this book? What's special about it?
So many things. I think first of all, it gives you these 4 agreements. I'll go ahead and actually just kind of read what those are. The first is to be impeccable with your word. The second is do not make assumptions. Third, don't take anything personally. And the fourth is always do your best. So upon first glance, I feel that, those kind of mostly have a relation to yourself, things that you can do for yourself to be grounded in yourself. But all throughout the book, you can feel that the aim of these 4 agreements, when mastered within yourself, is for the purpose of bettering your relationships outside of yourself. And so this book was really eye-opening for me as far as things that I can do to have better grounding within myself, be more in control of myself, my own space, the thoughts that I'm letting enter my brain, the things that I'm giving my energy and attention to. But it was really enlightening beyond that to understand how that can change and enhance my relationships, especially within my family. So it's something that I constantly need a reminder of. There's so much good within this book, which is why I read it every year, and it's a super short read. It takes me like not long. I could do it, just in my free time within a couple days if I wanted to. So it's something that I do want to be constantly reminded of, because it's a lot of personal growth and enhancement of relationships, which is always evolving, always changing, and to apply it in the different seasons of my life throughout the years has been really incredible and interesting to see how it always does apply and enhance. So
yeah, for sure. That's something I want to put up on my wall, make a cute poster and put the 4 agreements on it.
Yes, absolutely. It's simple, it's great information, and just to have that constantly on the brain, they're really helpful. So
I love the reminder for sure. So we've kind of naturally already gotten into the mini lesson main principles that the book teaches, main takeaways, and how that kind of relates to relationships. You kind of talked about how helps you with your family and friends and just being your best self for them. Is there anything that you would add, or what do you feel kind of the main point of the book is? I know we kind of talked about the 4 agreements, but is there anything you would add to that?
Yeah, I think just kind of as far as the structure or relation between these agreements with themselves. I mean, first of all, this idea of an agreement is he kind of describes the world as a dream. We're living this dream, right? Where the things that we understand to be truth or that we accept into our lives or not is all just perceptive. It's based on what we are taught as important through the environment we grow up in, through the people in our lives. And so this idea of an agreement is something that you form within yourself, within your brain, within your heart, whatever, that you connect this idea to truth. So it's we are all in agreement that this letter makes this sound, it means this thing. When I draw it, I can perceive it as this information. And so carrying that into these principles of these 4 agreements, it's something that if you can really master and agree with yourself upon, this is the way that I will live by this standard or this principle. That's the idea of an agreement, which is a really cool basis and foundation when understanding, these principles moving forward, these agreements. So the last 3 kind of hinge on the first. The first, again, is to be impeccable with your word. And he talks about the power of your word as far as accountability and authenticity and integrity to yourself, that you are impeccable with it, that you use your word intentionally. He talks about the power of the word in influencing other people as far as what they do believe to be truth about themselves, about the world, about your relationship with them. And everything kind of hinges on that. The next 2, to not make assumptions or take anything personally, definitely has a lot to do with yourself and how grounded you are within yourself, what you understand about yourself versus what you believe other people understand about you, because it is important to keep those separate, but they do affect your relationships as well, because you have a bigger capacity to love somebody, interact with somebody when you're not constantly worried about what they are thinking about you, what they're saying about you, how they feel about you. And so to not make assumptions about that, that being none of your business, right? You're in control of yourself, your world, your space, as well as not taking anything personally that they say that's incredible for relationships. And I think it just helps me a lot, especially in my familial relationships. And then the crowning one, to always do your best, kind of enhances all of those. And if you really agree to that, thinking about this word of agreement, if I really agree that I'm going to implement these things 100% in my life, how much your life could change in those, just with those 4 agreements.
Yeah. Those, all those agreements are something that they're going to take practice to really take those in to your life. I was just thinking about not taking things personally and not letting what other people say mean something about you and how they act. That's something that I would like to believe is part of me, but I look at my life and I'm you know what, I can definitely be better at that. And so I think with these agreements, it's something that literally has to change your brain and your thought process. Yeah. So I think what you were talking about reading this book every year and being really familiar and keeping them at the forefront of your brain, I think that's the only way the change is really gonna happen.
Yeah, it's the repetition.
Yeah,
for sure, because it is rewiring the way that you think about things. I think that we do we have this tendency to kind of be within ourselves, kind of, I guess, inward focused, where it's what do people think about me? How is this affecting me? What is that person? whatever that person said affect me. But if you can kind of like be foundational within yourself despite those outside factors or influences, and then look outward and see how you can move in that direction, that takes a lot of time, because it is totally rewiring. I think the human nature, it's like part of the human condition to be in that headspace. So switching it does take that repetition, which makes this book so important, because it's short. It's these 4 basic principles, but they are principles that do take time to implement and to actually, form an agreement with them. Like, this is something that will be a part of me from here on out. So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's making me excited to go read the book again.
Yeah.
Make a screensaver.
I like
put
crave
it.
I'm like, I need to remember how to implement these things, because they help so much.
That's powerful. Well, Brooke, who would you recommend this book to, and why?
I truly think everybody needs this shift in headspace and, focus, like we've kind of talked about. But I do, and especially this last time that I've kind of read through it, skimmed through it, because I do reference it a lot in my relationships. I feel that it is like especially important for familial relationships. I was reminded a lot of like parenting this last time, and just I'm not a parent. I'm excited to be one day, but just the way that I navigate, or I could potentially be navigating myself as a parent, it has so much influence on my kids. So I think for parents, it's so important of course, like siblings as well, your relationship with anyone in your family, because those relationships are so critical and foundational in our lives. Like, to be able to navigate them with grace and strength and intention is just so important. And it allows you to be able to interact with those people in a way that is full of love, and you have the space and energy to do it, because you've made these agreements with yourself that make it so you can love them to the full capacity, instead of feeling offense or judgment or all of these things that we kind of create within ourselves when we're thinking otherwise. So
yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I guess just to kind of go over what those are again, to be impeccable with your word, do not make assumptions, don't take anything personally, and to always do your best. I think that's a pretty incredible summary of go read it. It's incredible. It's great. It'll change your life. So
thank you so much, Brooke. I really appreciate you spending your time. Brooke and I are currently in Utah hanging out this weekend, and she was so kind and willing to do this with me while we're here. So thank you to our listeners for joining us today on By the Book. We hope that you've enjoyed your time with us. I know I've enjoyed my time with Brooke. The link to the book on Amazon and Audible will be in the show notes to make it easy for you to find it. Let us know in the comments if you end up reading the book and your main takeaways. And we'll see you next time. This podcast was created to help fulfill class requirements in my teaching family life education class, taught by Dr. Daryl Higgins at Brigham Young University, Idaho, as I work towards a bachelor's degree in marriage and family studies. Thank you.